Hey, what's up, friends? This is James. Welcome back for another Power Flow yoga class. So here we focus on strength, flexibility, balance, and on mindfulness. I want to start us out on our backs today. So just come over to your mats, relax down, and then bring your knees into your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees and give yourself a little rock out side to side. While you're doing this, just take some nice exhales out through the mouth. Easy inhales to fill back up. Nice. Find a full morning stretch. Reach your arms all the way to the behind you. Reach your legs all the way out in front of you and just give a roll out through your ankles and through your wrists. Wiggle out through your fingers and through your toes. And then we're going to come and relax into reclined cobbler's pose, reclined bound angle pose, Supta Baddha Konasana. So bring the bottoms of the feet together. Your legs are in a diamond shape and your knees just open out wide and just relax down towards the ground. Weight of the head and torso is relaxed. And then place one hand onto your lower belly and one hand onto your upper belly. Let the elbows relax to the ground and the weight of the hands be heavy. The next part I'll lead us into is a breath warm-up. This is called Ujjayi Pranayama. It's a 3-part breath exercise. So just release your air all the way to empty. Breathe into your low belly for 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe into your mid-abdomen for 1, 2, 3, and hold. Breathe all the way to your chest, all the way to your shoulders. Once you've got the full breath, just hold and relax. And then exhale slowly for 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's do that again. Breathe into your low belly and your low back. Pause there. Breathe into your mid-abdomen and your mid-back. Hold there. Fill all the way to your chest, all the way to your shoulders. Probably the biggest breath you've taken today. Hold and relax. If you want, sip a little more air in to top it up. And that slow exhale, just letting it release all the way down to empty. Once you get down to empty, we're going to start Ujjayi Pranayama. So this is, it sounds like ocean waves, right? So you inhale slow through your nose from the bottom to the top, sipping the air in, engaging the muscles in the back of your throat. And then you exhale back out through the nose like you're fogging up a mirror, so you'll hear the sound of ocean waves as you work that breath. And then the Ujjayi Pranayama, that's the breath of victory. This is the breath that we'll use throughout the entire practice. It narrows how the air comes in and how the air goes out, so it's a way that we can focus our breath. And this is our direct link to mindfulness, the way that we get to focus our mind in on what's happening with our bodies right here and now in the present moment, present experience. So just work through those inhales, work through those exhales, and please take what works for me, leave the rest behind. Awesome, friends. Stay with your breath. We're just going to stretch both of the legs straight up in space. You could slide your hands to the back of the legs or leave the hands down to the ground and give a roll out through your ankles while you're breathing. Move through your fingers and through your toes. Get into the arch of your feet. Maybe at times you point through your heels, or maybe at times you're reaching through the balls of the feet or just stretching out through your toes. You'll also get a nice roll out into your ankles here, and you'll feel it all the way down into your calves, all the way down into your shins. And then slide your peace sign fingers up for a happy baby. So make hooks with your peace sign fingers. They'll hook around your big toes. And then you'll open the legs up wide. So your palms kind of end up facing one another as you hook around the big toes. Bend the knees out wide and stack your ankles above your knees. And then just rock gently side to side. Your head is relaxed. And you're trying to gently pull down on the frame, bringing your low back into the ground or at least close to the ground. And again, just staying with that breath, friends. Nice warm up for the hips, for the knees. Excellent. Release the feet down to the ground like you're going into bridge pose, so at hip bone distance. And then reach your arms down your sides and step your heels in until your fingers can brush against your heels. That lines your heels up underneath your knees. Rock the hips forward so your tailbone is planted. There's an arch in your low back. And then we'll do roll-ups in and out of bridge pose with our breath. So on the inhales, vertebrae by vertebrae, peel the hips up in the space. And then on the exhales, vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly lower the hips back down into the ground. And we'll take that a couple more times. Inhale, slow motion, picks the hips up off the ground, lifting up tall, vertebrae by vertebrae. Exhale, vertebrae by vertebrae, slowly rolls back down. Last time. Inhale, lift back up. Just taking it one vertebrae at a time. And on the exhale, slow and controlled, roll back down. This time when you land, you're going to bring your knees back into your chest, wrap your arms around your shins and or around your knees and just give a little rock. To make your way up to your sit bones, you can grab your hamstrings and just lift your way up. And then we're going to meet up in tabletop. So just come forward. And this is a warm-up for your wrists where I want you to turn the insides of your palms to face up to the front of the mat. Your thumbs point to the side and your fingers point back. Stay with your breathing. And then on your exhales, you could just lean back in space and peel your hands off the mat back to your fingertips. And on the inhale, you could roll back forward. And really, you can work the breath in however you want. There's not a right or wrong way. Just weave it in as it makes sense to you. But take that a couple more times, leaning back, peeling your hands off the mat, back to your fingertips, and then slow motion rock back forward. And we're getting into our wrists. You can tell, though, we're also warming up the entirety of your hand, your fingers, the circle of the palm, and all the way up into the forearms as well. Okay, place the back of your hands to the ground. Your fingers could point towards one another or they could point backwards. Just give a gentle press and massage into the back of your hands here. And then take your sit bones back towards your heels into hero's pose and take a nice roll out through your wrists, moving through your fingers and integrating that warm up that we just did. Hero's pose, the knees are together, tops of the feet are to the ground, and your sit bones are back towards your heels or as close as they come. Excellent, friends. From here, we'll meet up in our plank. So just take your hands down to the mat. They'll line up at shoulders distance, shoulders right above your hands, toes to the back of the mat. And then just take some slow motion back and forth movement here. Imagine like a saw cutting through a piece of wood. And what you're doing is you're feeling into the shape of the pose. We're getting the hips on level with the shoulders. We're getting the core nice and engaged. And then as you start to hold it, you've got your shoulders right above your hands. Your arms are lengthened, but if the elbows are locked, I want you to add a micro bend. Let your biceps tone in slightly towards center line. You can think about that would be the motion like gripping a beach ball between your biceps. And then on your next exhale, hinge forward, lower just halfway down. You could also do this on your knees with your ankles crossed. Inhale back up to the top of your plank. And as you exhale, we're going to shift back into down dog and start to walk out down dog. So you can drop the weight into one heel while you bend through opposite knee. And this can feel really good. While you're walking out through down dog, your hips are lifting back and up in space. So you're feeling that stretch from your hands all the way up through the hips. We'll come back to down dog in a moment, but I want you to take a breath back into down dog, stretch up through your hips, press to your palms. On your exhale, hinge forward to your plank, lower halfway down. And then again, inhale, press back up to plank. And exhale, shift back. And those push-ups, again, can be done on your knees with your ankles crossed. Okay, this time, second time in down dog, spread out into your palms, grip through your fingers, bend both of your knees a little bit, and just lift the hips up nice and tall. From here, we're going to start to go into a turbo down dog where you bend your elbows and the biceps tone in towards center line. And that's from the Anna Forest tradition. Hips are lifting up nice and tall. And you can start to find some length through the back of your legs, taking some of that bend out. The elbows are bending. It's kind of a mix between like a forearm, like a dolphin, right? And then that full down dog kind of halfway into there. Awesome, friends. Inhale back to your plank. Last push-up. This time it's taking you all the way down to the ground on your exhale. Once you touch down to the ground, we'll move into Bhujangasana Low Cobra. So tops of the feet root, and you can just have your head down and bring the palms to the earth, framing your pectorals. Slide a little bit lower so you're right at the top of the ribs, the high ribs, the mid ribs. And then you start to squeeze your elbows in towards center line so that your shoulder blades start to squeeze in. Fantastic. Lift your chest up off the ground, pressing the pelvis down and the feet down. Find the length through the back of the neck, keeping those shoulders toned in. The key with low cobra is you're not pressing your way up through your arm strength. You're lifting up as you press down into the hips and the legs. And one way to check that right is to lift your hands just a half inch up off the ground, float it. Okay, your next exhale, you're going to lower back down. But now take your arms out wide so that if you stack like I'm doing, your elbows above your hands, that's the distance we're looking for. Come to your fingertips. Imagine you've got cupcakes underneath your hands. I know that's a weird analogy, but it always works for me. And on your inhale, you're going to lift up nice and tall. So this is a little bit of a taller lift up, stretch through the spine. Okay, you can stay right here, or on an exhale, you can twist to the left, dipping your right shoulder towards the left side of your mat, not touching though. Inhale, lift back up, press to your fingertips. And on your exhale, bring your left shoulder over towards the right side of your mat. Nice. One more. Inhale, reach back up in space. Exhale, twist down to the left. Inhale, reach back up, and then last twist, exhale down over to the right. Press to the fingertips, lift up tall, and on your exhale, lower all the way down. We'll meet up in downward facing dog, so move through plank or tabletop, shift it back up in space. Find the full length from your spread out hands into the circle of your palm, up through your hips. And then from that, lengthen your hips, draw down through your heels. Biceps are toned in towards center line. Weight of the head is relaxed. And staying with that breathing, friends. Nice. Your next exhale, bend your knees, look between the hands, and just step it up into forward fold. From your forward fold, inhale halfway up, so hands to your shins, bend your knees a little bit, and then just lengthen the spine parallel to the ground. Gaze is down, crown of the head is reaching forward, and make sure the shoulders are toning in towards one another. So if you spend time in the gym and you know the bent over row where you're lifting that barbell up off the ground with weights in this position, at the top of it, right, is when you're really letting those shoulders tone in to strengthen and protect the spine. Next exhale, friends, refold. Fantastic. And then I want you to bend your knees until all 10 fingertips touch to the ground. And then from the 10 fingers rooted, lift your hips back and up. And now start to walk your hands over towards the left side of your mat. And as your right hand gets over to the left, you're going to find a nice stretch through the side body there. Slowly walk back to center and make your way over to your right side of the mat. And again, as your left hand gets over there, you'll find a nice stretch at center. Nice. Just explore for a couple more rounds of breath here. And then with the weight heavy in the arms and the head, slowly vertebrae by vertebrae roll up to standing. Let the head be the very last thing to come up, and then when it does, inhale to reach your arms wide and tall. And on your exhale, bring your hands down into your chest, rooted. We'll meet up in Utkatasana. This is chair pose. So I want you to start to reach your sit bones back in space. And as you reach your sit bones back in space, you're taking a squat through your legs. You can lift up through your arms. So the side profile of this, as you extend back, you can see the sit bones are reaching back, weight is dropping into your heels. Strengthen through your legs heel, press to the ground. Feel your upper legs wrapped around those knees. Feel your glutes pulling back up away. Find the strength of your core around your lower spine. And as you lift your arms up, they could be like straight up in space, parallel. They could be open a little bit. They could even be cactused a little bit. But you want to feel your shoulder blades gently toning back behind you in space. Fantastic, friends. Stay with your breathing inside of that chair. And then we'll make a flying chair. So your next exhale, lift your heels off the mat and now reach your arms back in space. You don't need to drop your chest down. Your chest is still lifted. Your gaze is still up. And then when we lift onto the balls of the feet and draw the heels off the mat, you're going to feel your balance start to kick into gear, and all these little muscles start to kick into gear that weren't before. Use the breath. Anytime you're balancing, you can focus your gaze on one object that's not moving. Elbows are bending and reaching back a little bit, and that helps you to keep that tone in your shoulders as you reach your fingers back. Okay, and then we're going to plant the right heel and inhale high lunge. So step the ball of the left foot back and reach your arms up in space. And then you start to lower a little bit down into that lunge, but tone your thighs in towards center line. Your back heel is off the ground, and the leg is coming forward, so you're on the ball of that back left foot. And then again, keep that strength around that right knee. Stay active in that right glute like we were before in chair. Excellent, friends. On an exhale, take this high lunge into a flying lunge. So reach your arms back in space and find that length all the way up through the back of the neck. Reach back through your fingertips, lift up through your elbows, and tone your shoulders in. Beautiful breathing. We're going to inhale back to chair. Left foot steps up to meet your right. Sit back into that squat. Reach up through your arms. Find the strength. Feel those shoulders toned in. Breathe in chair. And then just like we did last time, exhale flying chair. Lift your heels. Reach your arms back and bend your elbows back a little bit and tone your shoulders in. Sit a little bit lower into it. Okay, so we're ready for a high lunge. So plant the right foot, reach your left leg back, reach your arms up in space. Excellent. Immediately tone those thighs in towards center line. And your arms reaching up in space. Think about pinkies forward, thumbs back, arms pulling back to frame your ears, shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. Breathe in here and exhale into your flying lunge. Arms are reaching back in space. Nice diagonal line from your back leg all the way through the back of the neck. Staying with your breathing. Get to the end of your breath, inhale warrior two. So left arm back, right arm forward. Feel free to bring that right foot forward a little bit in space. Tone the thighs in. Your hips are opening up here. Lengthen off that back left leg, but strengthen down around that back left knee. Press all the way into that back foot. Awesome. You could take your gaze back across your left shoulder for a second and just find that left shoulder right on level with your with your left arm right on level with your shoulder. And then when you take your gaze back across your right, of course, you can look right out in front of it. Take a couple more rounds of breath here. Extended side angle pose on your next exhale. So bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Reach that left arm either straight up in space or out on a diagonal from your back left leg. And then if your left hip is popping up above your right, keep your left hip on level with your right. So lift through that inner right side body as you press to your right thigh. And find your breath. Nice. Inhale back up to warrior two and straighten out your front right leg. We're getting ready for triangle, and if you're working with a block, you can take the block on the outside of your right ankle on level 1, 2, or 3. I'm going to place mine on 2. If you don't have a block, no worries. With the right leg lengthened, extend your arms back out like warrior 2. Breathe in, and on your exhale, reach as far forward as you can and then tilt down. So your palm, if you're using the block, is going to go to it on 1, 2, or 3 on the outside of the ankle. Otherwise, your right hand could just go to your shin, or you could bring your fingertips down to the ground, or you might get lower. There might be more flexibility for the fist or the palm to come down to the ground. Your arms are opened from the ceiling all the way down to the floor, wingspan fully open. And then watch you're not dipping your shoulder or your gaze down. You're stacking the top left shoulder over the right, and then the crown of the head is reaching forward, friends. As you press into the right foot and draw your hips back, find the strength of the muscles in your right leg so we're supporting that knee. And stay with your breathing. You should feel a nice stretch in the back of the right leg, then a nice stretch forward through your spine. If you want, take your top left arm and reach it forward. Keep the arm plugged into the shoulder socket. If you want to challenge even further, you can take that bottom hand and reach it out as well, or keep it right where it was. Nice breathing. Let's inhale back up to warrior 2, and then reverse your warrior. So left hand to your hip, thigh, or behind you, and then just reach that right arm up, straight up in space, and then you could bend your elbow and reach it back a little bit. Gaze can go just up a little bit out in front of you, or it could be down over to the side or down where your back left foot is. Stay inside of that lunge. It's just a nice lift up through the side body. Nice. So you'll breathe into your reverse warrior, and on your exhale, cartwheel your hands down to a low lunge position. So framing the right foot onto the ball of the left. From here, we're going to move into standing splits. Lift your back left leg up and press to your fingertips or your fists or your palms. And what this is a one-legged standing forward fold. So relax your head. You're in a forward fold here. Gaze is back behind you. But then either press into the fingers, the fists, or the palms through your arms as if you're going to lift your body up into a handstand. Lift that back left leg up tall, and right leg is nice and lengthened. Awesome breathing. And it feels like you're lifting the left leg, but you're also pressing the left leg up as you press to your hands. Inhale here, and on your exhale, you're going to squat deep into your right leg, and then bring that left knee into your right calf. You can leave your hands to the ground. If you want to challenge this a little further, you can start to reach your arms back in space. You just squatting on your right leg, left knee tapping your right calf, and then fingertips flying back. Almost there. Inhale, one-legged mountain, and that is a tricky transition where you're standing all the way up on that right leg, bringing your arms and your left knee with you. I want you to think about there are gymnastic rings, imaginary gymnastic rings right where your fingertips are. You can reach up and you can grab them and you can pull down on them. So as you reach up through your arms, then those arms plug back into your shoulder sockets. You're fixing your gaze on one object that's not moving. You're staying with your breathing. Root into that bottom foot. Sometimes gripping through your big toe helps out. And now, as you pull down on the gymnastic rings and you press down into the right foot, I want you to lift your left thigh high and then reach it forward. So as the left leg's moving forward, you're not moving back. It's literally as if it was pressing into a wall and you were pressing the wall forward. One more inhale here, and on your exhale, left foot to the ground, bring the hands into the heart center. Inhale to reach up tall into mountain, breathe in. And on the exhale, hinge out from your hips and take a swan dive down into your forward fold. Excellent. Inhale halfway up, lengthen your spine, tone your shoulders in, and then refold on that exhale. We'll take a ragdoll frame, opposite hand to the outside of opposite elbow or bicep. Release the weight of the head and the torso and gently sway side to side, or lightly rock back and forth. When those exhales come in, you'll release a little deeper into it.
Nice. So release your arms and then step back to your plank. You could go right to down dog, or on an exhale, shift forward, lower half, way down, Chaturanga Dandasana, and upward facing dog, press the tops of your feet. Lift your chest up tall. Your hips are off of the ground because you're holding yourself on the tops of the feet and the hands. Roll those shoulder heads down away from the ears. Tone the biceps in as you lift up. And then tuck your toes and meet back in downward facing dog. Find a couple deep rounds of breath in our downward facing dog, friends. Think about the alignment points we were going over earlier. And use the inhales, use the exhales. Breathe into that down dog. And on your next exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands, and step or float to your forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthen your spine, tone your shoulders in. Exhale, refold. Excellent. Reverse swan dive. Inhale, arms wide and tall, lift up. And on the exhale, bring your hands back down into your heart center. Okay, so we're going to take that sequence on the left side now. It starts with chair pose, so take your sit bones back into that squat. This is our Utkatasana. Reach up through your arms. And you're letting those arms pull back in space, whether you need to widen them a little bit or not, letting those shoulder blades tone together back behind you. Right on, breathe in, and on your exhale, lift your heels off the mat, take your flying chair. Again, chest is still lifted, elbows are bending and reaching back a little bit, fingers are reaching back, shoulders are toned in. Just get into the breath. I love that part of this practice. Okay, plant your left heel this time, and then step the right foot back into a high crescent lunge. And that's one that definitely plays with our balance, plays with our strength. Let the thighs tone in. Your back right heel is off the ground. You're on the ball of the right foot. And then as you lower down into it, you're lowering into that strength that you've set up. You've got the support for your left knee with those muscles in the left leg. You've got that left glute lifting back up away from it. Just engaging your left glute. That's what your glute does. Pinkies forward, thumbs back, then shoulder heads down. Exhale, flying lunge, so just hinge forward, reach your arms back in space. Find that length all the way through the back of the neck. And then on an inhale, step up into chair. Right foot meets your left. Lift up through your arms. Drop low into your sit bones. And it's really into your heels. The sit bones are reaching back and dropping down. Okay, breathe in chair. On an exhale, lift your heels off the mat. Send your arms back, flying chair. Nice breathing. So left heel can plant, reach your right foot back, inhale, high crescent lunge, lift up through your chest. Stabilize with your legs. And then breathe into it, and on your exhale, you're going to hinge forward, and then take that flying lunge. Control the spine here. Find that nice diagonal from your back leg all the way through the back of the neck. Inhale, warrior two. So knife edge of your right foot to the ground. Maybe you lengthen your stance out a little bit. Heels in one line from the front of the mat to the back. As you open through your arms, feel free to gaze back across those right fingertips. Check that right arm is up on level with your right shoulder. And then gaze back across your left shoulder. Gaze back across your left fingertips and your left shoulder. Relax your shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. Spread out through your legs, so press into it, and then hug back in towards center line at the same time. Feel the activity in that back leg. It's not relaxed. It's engaged. Your next exhale, extended side angle pose, left forearm, left thigh. Your choice of your right arm straight up or maybe out on a diagonal, or however you like to practice. Maybe you're dropping the left arm down the inside of that left leg. Lifting through that inner left side body as you press to your left thigh. Nice. Inhale back up to warrior two. Straighten out your left leg. This is triangle. So if you're using a block, you could take it on the outside of your left ankle on 1, 2, or 3. Level 1, 2, or 3. We extend the arms, breathe in, and on your exhale, reach as far forward as you can and then tilt down. Your palm is going to the block, or your fingertips, or your hands to your shin, or fingertips, fist, or palm to the ground. Open the wingspan all the way from the ground to the sky. Extend your spine forward. Gaze is out towards the right. Strengthen through your legs. And if you'd like, start to reach that right arm forward. Plug the arm into the shoulder socket. You could have the left arm leave and extend as well right here. Warrior two on the inhale, and then you're reversing your warrior. So right hand to your hip thigh or behind you, and then taking that left arm up and back in space. And really where you're looking for is this length from your left hip crease up through your side body, up through your elbow, and then you could bend your arm and relax your head back a little bit if you like. Press, get into your lunge. So if you lift it out of it, get back into the depth of it. One more inhale here. On your exhale, cartwheel down, low lunge position, both hands frame the left foot onto the ball of the right. And then standing splits. So start to lift your right leg up in space. Press to your fingertips or your fists or your palms. Again, this is a one-legged standing forward fold. Relax your head so the gaze is behind you. Push into your hands, into your arm, with your arms. So you're not only lifting the right leg up, you're also pushing it back and up. Breathe in. On your next exhale, squat in your left leg, and then bring your right knee to tap that left calf. So hands can stay to the ground, or you can start to reach the arms to the back wall. And your gaze at that point, if you're reaching your arms back, your gaze is more towards the ground. Nice. So get down to the end of your breath, and then we got a tricky transition to one-legged mountain. Woo! Stand up on that left leg. Bring your arms and your right knee up. So fingertips can grab onto the gymnastic rings. They're right at that height where you can grab on, and you can grip and pull down so your arms are into your shoulder sockets. You're gripping into the left foot. You're fixing your gaze, and then start to extend your right leg forward as you lift up through your right thigh. Don't lean back. Remember, this is a forward movement. Nice. Breathe into it. And then standing on the exhale, foot to the ground, hands to your heart. Inhale to reach up into mountain. And on the exhale, hinge out from your hips. Swan dive into your forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthen the spine. And then plant the hands, move back to your plank. Your choice to go directly to down dog. You could exhale halfway down to chaturanga, press to the tops of your feet. Inhale, up dog, tuck the toes, press back into down dog. Nice, friends. Find a couple rounds of breath here in this down dog. And then we're going to move into our breath to flow part of class with that sequence. Nice. Inhale to your down dog. Exhale to bend your knees, step or float forward fold. Inhale halfway up, lengthen your spine. Exhale, refold, and then reverse swan dive. Inhale wide and tall, and on the exhale, hands into your heart center. Okay, inhale, chair pose. Here's the breath to movement. Exhale, flying chair. Okay, inhale, high lunge. Left foot is back, arms lift. Exhale, flying lunge. So we do that again. So you inhale, step up chair, left foot meets right. Exhale, flying chair, lift heels. And then inhale, high lunge, left leg goes back, arms up. Exhale, flying lunge. Inhale is to warrior two, so left arm back, right arm forward. And then exhale to your extended side angle pose. Inhale, inhale, warrior two, straighten right leg. And then exhale, tilt forward for triangle. Open the wingspan. Now inhale, reverse your warrior. And on your exhale, cartwheel down to your low lunge. Inhale, standing splits, left leg lifts. And then exhale to that squat, left knee to your right calf. Inhale, one-legged mountain. You can extend your left leg forward. Exhale, standing, hands into your heart center. Right on, inhale, reach up mountain, breathe in. And on the exhale, swan dive, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Plant the hands, move through plank. Exhale to chaturanga. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, back into down dog. Awesome, friends. Breathe in, downward facing dog. Your next exhale, bend your knees, look between your hands. Step up into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway to lengthen. Exhale, refold. Reverse swan dive. Inhale, arms wide and tall. And on the exhale, hands down into your heart center. Okay, here's the other side. Inhale, chair. Exhale, flying chair. Lift your heels. Inhale, high lunge. Right leg goes back. Arms lift. And then exhale, flying lunge. Arms back. One more time. Inhale, chair. Right foot meets your left. Lift up. And then exhale, flying chair. Lift the heels. Inhale, high lunge. Right leg back. Arms up. Exhale, flying lunge. Right on, inhale to your warrior two. Right arm back, left arm forward. Exhale, extended side angle pose. So inhale, warrior two, but straighten out your left leg. And on your exhale, tilt for triangle. Open your wingspan. Inhale, reverse warrior. And on your exhale, cartwheel down to your low lunge position. So inhale, right leg up into standing splits. And on your exhale, take that squat in the left leg as right knee goes into left calf. Your inhale reaches you up into one-legged mountain. Extend your right leg forward. Exhale, standing, hands into heart center. Inhale, breathe in mountain. And on the exhale, hinge out, swan dive down into your forward fold. Inhale, halfway up. And then plant the hands, move to your plank. Exhale, halfway down. Inhale, upward facing dog. Tuck the toes, reach back into down dog. Excellent, friends. So shift forward to plank. Lower down onto your forearms. And then create the shape number 11 on the bellies of your forearms. So your elbows are underneath your shoulders. Make the shape number 11 spread into your palms. Keep that shape. Bellies of the forearms to the ground. Everything at shoulder's distance. And then start to walk your toes up towards your elbows. This is dolphin. We talked about this earlier when we were in turbo downward facing dog. Lift your hips back up and away. You'll feel a stretch on the underside of your arms. Relax your head to look back behind you. Your sternum lifts back up towards your thighs. That's the part here. Press to your arms, then lift sternum up towards thighs. Take the weight to your left leg. Inhale your right leg back and up. Three-legged dolphin. Find your breathing. And exhale, lower down, root into your right leg, inhale your left leg up. So watch that your elbows aren't going out wide. Keep them at shoulder's distance. Watch that your wrists aren't caving in. Keep that strength through your arms. Find your breath. One more inhale, lifts up. Exhale, lower down. Walk back to your plank. Press into your hands. Find that regular plank. Shift back to down dog. And then we're going to come to a seat. You can do a little hop or lower to your knees. Awesome, friends. From your seat, roll onto your back. Bring your knees to your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees and just give a little rock side to side. Relax the weight of your head. You're doing great. We're working on some core muscle building right here. The next piece I want you to do is you take your legs straight up. We did this at the beginning of class in a relaxed way, where we're just stretching and relaxing and breathing. Now, grab your hamstrings, lift your head and shoulders off the ground, and then reach both of your arms straight up in space. Stay with that breath. If your neck needs support, throw like a finger back behind the base of the skull with the elbow wide. And then both hands behind the base of the skull, and start to lower your legs out to a diagonal. Keep your low back rooted to the ground. Hold the feet together. Elbows out wide. Or to draw from the Ashtanga tradition, press your palms together, reach the fingertips towards the feet, but then tone your shoulder blades together back behind you. You got it with that breathing. Press down through low back. Almost there. Awesome. So grab your hamstrings and lift up to your sit bones. We're in boat pose now. And inside of boat, as you lift your chest back and up in space and lengthen your spine, release your hands away from your legs. You can keep the knees bent, or you could start to straighten your legs out and lift your feet up. With the spine, a lot of importance on lifting up and toning those shoulders back in. Use your breathing. Almost there. Last round of breath. Right on, cross your ankles. Come forward to tabletop. I'm just laughing because I was just shaking super hard at the end of that. I hope you were too. Awesome, guys. So inside of tabletop, this is going to be pretty familiar. This is just cat and cow. If it's not familiar to you, cow is where you drop your belly, lift up through your chest, lift up through your tailbone. And then cat is where you arch your back and release the weight of the head down like a Halloween cat. And you can flow between those two however you like. But I want you to let the breath guide your way in this movement. Awesome. Step it into plank, reach your hips back up, downward facing dog, and then inhale your right leg up in space, open the hip and bend the knee, drape the toes over to the left. This is a scorpion tail, and your knee is high, and then as you bend the knee, you're bringing your heel, your right heel, towards your sit bones. The front of your right hip is opening to the right wall. And then you want to check that your left shoulder is not twisting and dipping super low. Keep it strong. And also that your left heel is not twisting over to the left. The base of this is super strong. Now, if you want to go into wild thing, you're going to flip your dog. You plant your right heel underneath your right knee, so your right leg's like bridge. And then your left leg is like a side plank. Some people also step the left foot in like bridge as well. Lift up through your hips, press into that bottom left hand, take the gaze up and reach your right arm forward. So it's kind of like taking side plank and more turning it into a little baby back bend. Nice. Turn back, three-legged down dog. Inhale your right leg up. And on your exhale, step up into a low lunge position. Awesome. From here, friends, we're going to take this into warrior one. So knife edge of your left foot to the ground, but then your heels go out a little wider from one another. And then you're going to let that right hip draw a little backwards as your left hip draws a little forwards. Extend up through your arms and gaze forward. Your back left foot, rather than pointing directly to the left, might point a little bit more towards the front of the room. And that's going to help you inside of that twisting motion we do with our legs in Warrior One. Otherwise, your arms are like a high crescent we've done earlier. Swim the hands behind you, interlace your fingers at your knuckles. Inhale, pulls your knuckles down, squeeze your shoulders in. And on the exhale, lift up through your chest and then bow forward, humble warrior. So your right shoulder is towards the inside of the right thigh. It could also hover or rest on it. Head is relaxed and the knuckles are reaching to the sky. If your arms aren't really moving away from your low back, you could take like a strap between your hands or a towel. Put like 4 inches between your hands, and then you'll find that you can suddenly get your arms open a bit more and get into the stretch. You could also press the heels of your palms together to make it a little bit more intense as well on the other end of the spectrum. Nice, friends. Rise back up into Warrior One. And then we're going to move into our half moon pose. So if you got that block, you could take your block into your hand on level 2 or 3. I'm going to put mine on 2. And then all we do is lean forward, plant the right hand down to the ground. Your right hand is in front of your foot by a few inches to the point where when we stand, sorry guys. All right, let me set this up. So plant your right hand. Maybe there's like 6 to 8 inches from my hand to my foot. And then when you stand up on your right leg, you want the hand directly underneath your shoulder. Okay, and then your left leg is pointing to the back of the room. You press through your heel, and then the front of your left hip is pointing to the left. Your toes are pointing to the left. Lift up through your arm. Now, you do not need a block. You can do this on your fingertips as well. Focus your gaze on an object that's not moving, and use that breathing. That stack of the hips and that stack of the arms. Awesome. When you're ready, you're going to release down. We've got this low lunge, both hands framing the right foot. And for Pigeon, just walk the right foot over to the left side of your mat. Drop your right knee over to the right. Slide your left leg back just a little bit. When you press to your hands, you want your right knee to the outside of your right hand. You can have the top of the foot or the side of the right foot to the ground. And then you walk down and bring it to your forearms. Relax your head to your hands or to the block or to the ground. More intensity, you have your right shin more parallel towards the top of your mat. Less intensity, you angle it away. And then you want to watch that you're not dropping, rolling onto one hip or the other. The tendency would be, in this case, for the right hip. But that your hips are off the ground. They're on the same level with one another, so the top of your left leg is pointing straight down to the ground. We're here for a bit more time, so find that breathing, friends. Nice. Take that last round of breath and exhale out the mouth. It can feel really nice. And then press into your hands. Lift up through your chest. Tuck through your left toes. And then bring that right leg back and up and just take a little movement through it after you've been bent on it. So you could go to scorpion tail and re-extend. Find a full down dog, and then we're going to switch our sides out. So now, on an inhale, lift your left leg back up, three-legged down dog. And then on an exhale, take the scorpion tail, lift the knee up high, bend it, drape the toes down to the right. Your heel is coming in towards your sit bones. Front of your left hip is opening to the left wall. Again, stay strong in that right shoulder, so don't let it twist or drop super deep. And make sure your back right heel is not pointing to the right, it's right behind you. So for Wild Thing, we pivot with the right hand, flip the dog, so left heel lands underneath your knee like bridge. Right leg is like side plank. You could also do it like bridge if you want. You're rooted to your right hand. Gaze goes up. Left arm is reaching forward. So that chest takes a little twist to the sky. And find your breath. Nice. Turn back to your three-legged down dog. And on your exhale, breathe into it. And on your exhale, step up into your low lunge. Okay, so for our warrior one, knife edge of your right foot is to the ground. Open your feet up to hip bone distance, your heels. And then the angle of your back right foot doesn't have to be just to the right. It might be a little bit more forward. The twist is going, your right hip's pulling forward, left hip's drawing back. Arms are up, just like a high crescent lunge. And watch that you're not rolling onto the inside edge of your back foot. Just spread out into that foot and press down strong through it. Awesome. Breathe in here, and on your exhale, drop your hands. Interlace your fingers at your knuckles. Inhale your knuckles down, shoulders squeeze, chest lifts. And as you exhale, bow forward, find your humble warrior. Left shoulder towards the inside of your left thigh, or resting on it or hovering above it. It's like an ostrich digging its head into the sand here. Head is totally relaxed. Knuckles are reaching to the sky, stretching out your shoulders. And find that breath. Nice. Rise back up into your warrior one. And then we're going into that half moon. So you can do your block on level, 1, 2, or 3 out in front of your left foot. You can also just use your fingertips. So if you're going to lean forward, you plant your left fingertips down, lift your right leg up. And then you start to point your heel to the wall behind you and let the front of your right hip bone point to the right, your toes point to the right. And then open your wingspan, stack your right shoulder over your left shoulder. There's a little bit of tone of your shoulder blades back behind you. Your gaze might start out to the ground. That's a great place to be. That's the most comfortable place. Over time, you can work it where it starts to look maybe to the side or maybe even up in space. To the side or up in space really encourages that opening through the chest and the stack of your shoulders. And like I said, finding one point to look at is also a really great tool for balance. We're almost there, friends. So take one more deep breath in, and on your exhale, you're going to take that low lunge, and we're going to our pigeon. So left foot over to the right, left knee to the left. Nice. Slide your right leg back a little bit. Top of the foot's to the ground. Press to your fingertips. Left knee is to the outside of your left hand, and then you walk down onto your forearms. You've got the top of that left foot or the side of that left foot to the ground. Watch that you're not rolling onto that left hip. It's off the ground. And that you've got the top of your right leg pointing straight down as you work with that breathing. Inhales create the space that our bodies get to move into on those exhales. So it's that last round of breath. It's that slow, deep inhale. And then just exhale out the mouth. And then press to your hands, lift up through your chest, tuck the back right toes, and bring your left leg back and up in space. You can do a scorpion tail and extend again. That can feel nice. Last full down dog. Get that stretch through your spine, through your legs. And then we're going to lower down onto our knees and then make it down onto our sit bones. Once you're all the way down to your sit bones, just extend and reach your legs all the way out in front of you. Heels are rooted and toes are pointed up. Walk your sit bones back a little bit so you get to the front edge of your sit bones. And then with a little bend in your knees, inhale, your arms lift. And as you exhale, hinge out from the hips, dive forward, and then connect your hands to your shins or to your feet. On an inhale, like you're on a road bike, just lift up through your chest and your gaze. Reach forward through the low back. Exhale to refold. So friends, you can always add more bend to your knees to maybe get your hands closer to your feet. Or you could always walk the sit bones back a little bit to subtract the bend in the knees to get into that deeper part of this. What I love here is you've got that extension through the spine. You've got the fold down. And then we get to breathe into the back and the legs. And when I first went to a yoga class with my mom in high school, I just was in pain. And especially in this pose. And I'm laughing because I was athletic. I played lacrosse and I skied and I ran and everything. But I didn't stretch at all. And so just this stretch right here in particular, I remember it just hurting my back and my legs and I couldn't stay in it. And then, later on in my 20s, I get into yoga, and it just hits that point where it's what you crave. It's what feels good, that level of flexibility, that level of openness. Nice. Last couple rounds of breath. Nice. And just inhale your arms up tall in space. Lengthen your spine. And on your exhale, bring your hands through your heart center down to the ground at your sides. Slide your hips up and then roll the weight onto your back. Bring your knees into your chest. Relax your head and just give a little rock side to side. Awesome, friends. Stack your knees over to the left onto the outside edge of your left hip. Reach your right arm out to the right and take your gaze out over your right fingertips. Left hand can pull down on the top and outside of that right knee. Let your right shoulder gently press towards the earth on the right side. And as you're holding your body in this reclined twist, you get to relax deeper and deeper with every round of breath. Nice, so switch it out. Bring your knees up to center. And then stack your knees over to the right. Reach and extend your left arm out to the left. Take your gaze out over your left fingertips again. Left shoulder gently pulling down towards the ground or relaxing towards the ground. And then on the other side, you've got your right hand gently pulling on the outside of that left knee or thigh. Just working with that slow, controlled breath. Bring your knees up to center. Wrap your arms around them. Give yourself a little nice rock out on the back. And then we're ready for our final resting pose, our corpse posture, Shavasana. So extend the legs out in front of you and then let the weight of the feet relax open. Reach your arms down to your sides. Let the weight of the hands relax to the ground and turn your palms open to the sky. Close your eyes. Let go of controlling your breath and let your body take back over on the breathing. So slowly bring some life back to your body. Wiggle through your fingers and through your toes. Start to deepen the breath. Extend and reach your arms all the way back behind you in space and roll out your ankles, roll out your wrists. That full morning stretch. And roll the weight of your body onto its side, curl up into a fetal position. So corpse posture translates from Sanskrit to English as, Shavasana translates from Sanskrit to English as corpse posture. As you curl up in this fetal position, you come into that reawakening. So we have an homage to the end, now you have your homage to the beginning. Friends, press to the ground and bring yourself up to a comfortable cross-legged position. Keep your eyes closed. Root to the front edge of your sit bones so you can pull the flesh away or walk them back. With your hands rooted to your knees or your thighs, inhale to reach your shoulder heads high, lengthen your spine. And on your exhale, just release your shoulder heads down away from the ears on the back. So now it looks as if we were ready just to be in a seated meditation for a minute. It has been my total pleasure to lead you through your practice today. The light in me greets the light in you. Much love. Namaste. Okay, friends, thanks for joining me. Have a fantastic rest of your day. Please remember to hit like and subscribe, and I'd love if you left a comment. Let me know how you like the practice or if you have any requests for the next one. If you're in a place and you would like to make a donation for taking the class, I've got my Venmo ID and my Venmo link in the description. And if not, no worries. It is my gift to you. But be safe, take care, and I will catch you next time.